Here's your news for March 10th, 2020. The main event of this week's episode of WWE Raw saw Seth Rollins, Murphy, and the Authors of Pain take on the Viking Raiders and the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits. The finish of the match saw Seth Rollins hit Montez Ford with the stomp for the win. The prizefighter then came out and attacked Rollins while he was celebrating. He hit Akam and Murphy with stunners before taking a curb stomp from the Monday Night Messiah. Rollins followed it up with a second stomp. After Raw went off the air, Drew McIntyre came out to confront Rollins. The future WWE Champion got in the ring and hit Rollins with a Claymore kick to the delight of the fans and the audience. McIntyre then took the mic and cut a promo saying that there was no way he could let the night end with Rollins having a big smile on his face. The Scottish psychopath then spoke about WrestleMania. He said that after he beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, things would change on Raw. We are looking ahead to next week's Raw now, as there's been plenty announced for the March 16th edition of the show. Given that the episode will fall on 3/16, it's fitting that Stone Cold Steve Austin will be appearing on the show to drink some beer and raise some hell, and the Texas Rattlesnake isn't the only big name from the Lone Star State who will be showing up. After AJ Styles declared that he will make sure The Undertaker, quote, dies in that ring at WrestleMania, it was confirmed that the Deadman will appear in Pittsburgh next week to sign the contract to make their match at WrestleMania 36 official. It'll be interesting to see how the contract signing goes, as the road to WrestleMania runs through Pittsburgh next week. Speaking of The Undertaker, we previously mentioned that the former WWE World Champion was at last weekend's big event convention in New York City, and the Deadman also set a record at the show. The PW Insider reports that given Taker's legendary status, there weren't any tickets to be had, as the meet and greet tickets were completely sold out for the Demon of Death Valley. The Phenom's appearance even led to the event having its first ever pre-show sellout, and there was reportedly a line outside the LaGuardia Plaza Hotel that ran down the block full of fans waiting to enter. Despite the no-touching policy that WWE enforced at the show, that didn't stop fans from paying big money to meet the Deadman, and it's been reported that promoters have already booked him to return to the convention on November 4th. From one veteran of the ring to another now, as Paige's in-ring career may be over, at least for the time being, but that hasn't stopped the former Divas champion from appearing on WWE TV. This week, Paige will return to the Blue brand to have some sort of segment with SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley, and though we don't know exactly what the angle will be, we do know that Paige is very excited. On Twitter, Paige said, "I guess I'm going back to work Friday. See you soon, Bayley," followed by a kissing emoji. And Paige's return isn't the only big comeback for this week's show. Courtesy of the WWE on Fox Twitter account, it was also revealed that Jeff Hardy will be returning to the Blue brand this week, after months away dealing with a leg injury that forced him and his brother Matt to vacate the SmackDown Tag Team titles. During his absence, Jeff has also been dealing with legal issues stemming from multiple arrests last year, and hopefully the charismatic Enigma will be able to keep on the straight and narrow when he returns to WWE SmackDown this Friday. We're looking back at last Sunday's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, as the show saw a truly dominant performance by Shayna Baszler, who eliminated all 5 of her opponents in the Women's Chamber match. This win has earned the Queen of Spades a Raw Women's title match against Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, though the idea of having one superstar eliminate everyone has actually been a long time coming, and was around before Baszler even joined WWE. Wrestling News is reporting that Paul Heyman had this idea for a while and wanted to use it for a certain client of his, but was constantly shot down. They said, Heyman wanted to do this many years ago with CM Punk, but the idea was shot down by Vince McMahon. It looks like Heyman got his way this time. Baszler's dominant performance inside the chamber has given the 2-time former NXT champion a world of momentum heading into her WrestleMania collision with Becky Lynch, and time will tell who leaves Tampa as the Raw Women's Champion on April 5th. More news from Baszler's win now, as the Queen of Spades victory was the first time that one person had eliminated everyone inside the Elimination Chamber in the near 18-year history of the Satanic structure. One person who was watching the chamber match closely was former Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey, who was very pleased to see her good friend and fellow horsewoman dominate the competition. On Twitter, Rousey wrote, "We're all your puppets. Give them the dose of reality they don't know they're desperate for, Shayna Baszler. Hashtag Queen of Spades, hashtag 4 Horsewomen, hashtag 4HW. It's unclear just when exactly Rousey will return to the ring, though Triple H has promised the baddest woman on the planet will be back at some point. The game has also stated that Rousey has been pitching return ideas to him all the time, and though it doesn't appear that the former Raw Women's Champion will be a part of WrestleMania 36, she will certainly be watching as Baszler takes on the man on the grandest stage of them all. One woman who felt Baszler's wrath during the chamber match firsthand was Natalya, who was the third victim of the Queen of Spades. On social media, the former SmackDown Women's Champion admitted that she was pretty banged up after being a part of the match, but assured fans she'd be okay, saying, "I was checked on by our WWE medical, I'm okay. My entire body is bruised and battered from Ruby, Sarah, Shayna, but you can't break me. I'm a Neidhart." As one of the longest-serving members of the roster, it's surprising to some that Natalya has just had 2 short title reigns throughout her dozens of years on the main roster. Though, with rumors of her and Beth Phoenix challenging for the WWE Women's Tag titles at WrestleMania, that could all change in a matter of weeks. We are taking a step outside of WWE now, as David Starr has been quite the big name on the indies, but thanks to the Vince McMahon-led promotion, won't be working with WXW anymore. Recently, Starr has made quite a stir by trying to start a pro wrestling union, and after the WXW event on Sunday, gave a passionate farewell speech to the crowd. For decades, McMahon has been against the concept of a union in wrestling, classing his superstars as private contractors, and Dave Meltzer explained the situation more on Wrestling Observer Radio, saying, "It pretty much came out that it was pressure from WWE. They did not want David Starr in any company that they can control David Starr not being in. Again, you'll have to ask them what the reason was. Of course, David Starr was very vocal when it came to unionization of wrestlers, especially in the UK. It probably also doesn't help Starr that he also stepped on the NXT United Kingdom title during a match with Walter, and he also started an online war with Gabe Sapolsky, the founder of Evolve, who WWE also has a working relationship with. Given these actions and a few others, it's clear that Starr has caught the ire of WWE in the process, and now, the biggest company in the world is making him pay for it." Back to WWE now, and we've got some worrying news from Lio Rush, who has shared a concerning update about his current life. After being brought in as Bobby Lashley's hype man, Rush was taken off of TV after reports of backstage heat, but did have a second wave in his career as the NXT Cruiserweight Champion. On Twitter, the Man of the Hour shared a post where he described himself as miserable, depressed, confused, angry, and scared. Rush also went on to say that he wants everything to end and ask the fans for their prayers so he doesn't feel alone. While we don't know exactly what Rush is going through, it is certainly hurting him greatly, and we at SlatRock are sending our best to the talented young superstar. Now, we all know that wrestlers spend a lot of time traveling, and sometimes you'll never know who you may end up traveling with. This is a lesson that AEW's Chris Jericho found out firsthand recently, as the former AEW World Champion posted a picture of himself on a plane, sat next to his former foe and friend, Batista. In the caption, Jericho mentioned Batista's upcoming induction into the WWE Hall of Fame, which will take place during WrestleMania weekend, and the chances of the Animal and Jericho booking the same row of seats on the same flight have to be 1 in a million. While Jericho has had a career renaissance since joining AEW and becoming their first world champion, the same can't be said for Cedric Alexander, who is clearly annoyed about his position in WWE. After suffering loss after loss, the former Cruiserweight champion took to Twitter on February 12th to say that being labeled frustrated is an understatement, and after losing to Riddick Moss this week, Cedric tweeted a Simpsons gif just to show how little time he gets on TV anymore. This tweet was later quoted by his wife, AEW star Big Swole, and though there's a chance something could change for the high flyer in WWE, it's looking more and more likely that Cedric will be joining his wife in the competition as soon as he can. We're sticking with Raw now, as at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, the Street Profits retained the Raw tag titles against Seth Rollins and Murphy, and after the match, the Monday Night Messiah was seen shouting at his disciple. Though the group were able to stick together during Raw, the cracks are starting to show in the group that also consists of the AOP, and with Rollins' match at WrestleMania rumored to be a singles encounter against Kevin Owens, it seems that the group may not be with the Architect by the time he makes it to Tampa. It's not out of the question that Rollins can keep his followers until WrestleMania, But one thing we know for sure is that Seth will stop at nothing to destroy the prizefighter along the way. And finally, we're ending with news from WWE Champion Brock Lesnar, as the part-time superstar has shown up, but not on WWE TV. Though Lesnar did not appear on Raw this week, the Beast's name did get a mention in the latest issue of The Avengers. During the story, Tony Stark would end up in prehistoric times after discovering a fossilized Iron Man helmet, and though he was left to fight ancient versions of his Avengers teammates, this didn't stop the cocky superhero from busting out some quips. In his insults of the Stone Age superheroes, Stark says how Ghost Rider Snuffleupagus and Brock Lesnar's Starband are one thing, but he refused to lose to an ancient version of Thor, whom he described as the God of Thunder's daddy. Whilst fans didn't get to see Lesnar physically appear in the comic, it's still a cool reference, and it may just be a matter of time before the Beast incarnate takes Iron Man, Captain America, and the rest of the Avengers to Suplex City.